Good morning, Dreamhouse Nation. James Lewis of TDH joining us today is Pello Perginian. We are excited about having Pello as a guest on our show to talk all about Moxie. But before we get to Moxie, we got to talk about his main company. What is Embodied?
Yeah, Embodied is a startup based in Pasadena. We are about 6 years old, and we are developing AI technologies to help people with mental health challenges, loneliness, emotional support, and so on. And our first product is Moxie, which is geared towards children age range of 5 to 10.
Nice. I was going to say, I know Moxie gets compared to a lot of the robots on TV and movie. Is that a fair comparison?
Yeah, I think it's really more like a cartoon character brought to real life.
Nice. So how did it all get started? What originally inspired you to create the company?
Oh, wow. That's a long story, but I'll give you the brief version. I'm Armenian, and I was born in Iran. Armenians, per default, we are Christian. And in 1979, when the revolution happened in Iran, I had to flee my country and ended up eventually in Denmark as a refugee at my early teens. And despite the fact that Danes are phenomenal people, but as a refugee, you don't necessarily feel welcome when you look different, you speak differently, you have an accent, and so on. And that was a little bit tough. I didn't even have my parents to lean on, and mentally it's very challenging. And you dream of having some emotional support and so on. At that time, I got inspired to go pursue education. I got a PhD in AI and robotics, and with a dream of creating an AI robot that can be your friend, your emotional support, your companion. And eventually, many, many, many years later, we are here now with that becoming a reality.
So tell us about that little guy. Tell us about Moxie.
So Moxie is really, to visualize it, it's really like a Pixar character brought to life. So it's a physical robot, about 1.5 feet tall. It has a adorable face with big eyes that can interact with you the way you can interact with other people. The secret sauce is really all of the software, which is using a lot of machine learning and artificial intelligence to be able to do things like, first of all, recognize you, to make eye contact. It's the first thing you do when you meet a new person. Eye contact builds a connection and rapport. So you have Moxie's big, adorable eye at you, and it will smile at you. It will ask you who you are and introduce itself and start on a journey of building a relationship. And then it starts learning more about you and will help you go through difficult times, help you verbalize your emotions, help you understand how to regulate emotions and so on. And obviously, as I mentioned, Moxie is meant for children on the age range of 5 to 10, both for neurodiverse children that may have been diagnosed with any social emotional challenges, but also for neurotypical children that have gone through difficulties, as we have seen during COVID. For instance, children were in the lockdown.
Wow. So it sounds like Moxie can help a wide range of young people.
Exactly. And that is what our first product is, although the technology platform that we have developed, we plan to use for helping other parts of the population, including the elderly that may be living lonely because their spouse has passed away and they're living lonely, they're away, maybe live far away from their children and so on. So that loneliness can lead to a lot of mental health challenges that leads to physical health issues and so on. So we can provide companionship that helps them. And anecdotally, actually, ironic, although Moxie is children, we do have a pretty significant number of adults and elderly that are buying Moxie to use it as an emotional support tool, as a companion. If you go on TikTok or YouTube and search for Moxie robot, you will see videos of adults literally having heart-to-heart conversations with Moxie about some difficulty that they are facing in their life.
That is just awesome that how Moxie is able to help people socially, emotionally, cognitively, and physically. I mean, it sounds like it really is making a huge impact out there on people's lives.
That is our mission. Our mission is to touch people's hearts and provide emotional support and empathy. So we are very excited to see where this goes. Of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg. As AI technologies are evolving really rapidly, we will see these technologies and products like Moxie really have the potential to make an impact. Of course, there is a very important ethical responsibility in doing this in a thoughtful and ethical way, which is something that's top of mind for us. As an example, we do not want the technology to become the crutch that actually leads to social isolation, because children get addicted to wanting to spend time with Moxie. And that's, as an example, part of the way Moxie's algorithms are designed. Moxie will actually, quote unquote, pretend to get tired and encourage the child to go do something in the real world, go spend time with their family members, go spend time with their friends at school, and exercise some of the strategies that Moxie actually teaches them through their interactions. So we usually try to limit the interactions to somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour a day, no more than that, because Moxie is really more of a springboard to real life, and it's not a destination. The destination is actual real life. Moxie is a tool that enables them to learn strategies to be more successful in real life in terms of how to start a conversation with a child, if they're subject to bullying and so on, how to deal with that, how to go talk to adults about getting help for those kind of things and so on.
Wow.
Exciting times ahead.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. Yeah, because unfortunately, a lot of technology, like you said, is used as a crutch. It's used as, shoot the end destination. But it sounds like Moxie is reincorporating you back into the main world, reincorporating you back into society.
Exactly, and these are top business decisions, because many companies want you to use their product more and more and more because they make more money by doing so. We have explicitly made a decision that we are going to be technology for good, and we are hoping that business-wise, at the end of the day, it will make sense, because we are successful when children actually stop using Moxie, when they don't need Moxie anymore. As a matter of fact, we have cases where families write to us thanking us for having created Moxie, and they say, as an example, there was a mom that wrote to us and said their daughter had a really hard time in social settings, so she was so shy and reserved she couldn't present in front of a classroom or create friendships and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And now, after using Moxie for just a few months, she's able to stand in front of the whole classroom, give a confidence without any social anxiety and so on. And so she's not using Moxie anymore. And that we see as a success, right? She doesn't need Moxie anymore. It's almost like having a skiing accident and injure your ligaments in your ankle and so on. At some point, you need to have some devices and crutches and so on to your ankle and muscles around it, so you crutches away and you can walk without any aid again. And this is how we think of Moxie. It's a social emotional support tool for when you need it, but hopefully at some point you can overcome and then not need that tool anymore.
That is awesome. So yeah, it's training people. It's building those muscles, those communication muscles, and really helping people to go to the next level. That is phenomenal.
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
Where is the best place for the Dream House Nation to buy a Moxie or rent a Moxie?
So the best place is actually going to our website. We are selling it direct. It's www.embodied.com or www.moxierobot.
Awesome.
And Moxie is spelled Moxie, and you will be able to go either purchase Moxie, and it's the price of an iPhone. It's not cheap, but given the amount of technology that's in there, it's actually phenomenally affordable, because usually robots of this nature being as much as a luxury car. One of our parts of our mission was trying to make it as affordable as possible So we have made it the price of an iPhone, or you can rent it for a fraction of that price. You can rent it month to month, and when your child may be done with Moxie, you can actually return it and stop paying for it.
And then, like you said, that is the goal of Moxie, is to be able to help those kids to where they don't need help anymore, and they've changed their lives for the better.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
So what is Moxie's warranty?
So Moxie has a 1-year warranty for craftsmanship and any defects and so on. So we will honor that. If you have an issue, you call us. We will try to fix that problem over the phone. Sometimes it's just software. If not, we will ship you a replacement unit that can just replace the robot you have. And by the way, the software state of the software gets saved, so everything Moxie has learned about your child is stored securely with an encryption code that only the parent has access to. So when they get their replacement Moxie, they can type in the encryption key, and the new Moxie will basically load to the same state as the previous Moxie was, so the child doesn't sort of sense that they're now building a new relationship with a new robot. And then we have an extended warranty, sort of like Apple Care. We have Moxie Care. In case there's an incident, if the child is not as careful with the robot as they should be, if they drop the robot, which doesn't happen very often, but if it happens with a Moxie Care extended warranty, we can cover incidents like that so that parents can have peace of mind that they didn't spend $1,000 on a robot that the child broke in 5 days.
So one of the great things about Moxie, I understand, is that you offer a free live demo that people can see online. How do they schedule? How do they sign up to see that online?
Yes, so that's a great question. If you go to our website at embodied.com, there's a link at the top. You will see live demo. You click on that, and there you have an opportunity to see a pre-recorded demo, a video of a pre-recorded demo, or you will see a link to scheduling for the next scheduled demo, which, by the way, I believe there is one coming up. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but you can go there and register and then participate in seeing a live demo where our team members will, through a Zoom video conference at the scheduled time, do a live demo, present interactions with Moxie and so on, because this is a new to the world type of technology, and seeing is believing, and we would like people to see how Moxie actually behaves in the real world and what interactions with Moxie look like.
What do you get for the subscription when you subscribe with Moxie?
Yeah, so as good point. So Moxie, as I mentioned, the business model is very similar to like an iPhone. You buy the product for about $999, and then you pay a $39 a month subscription fee, similar to what you pay for your service plan for your phone with T-Mobile or Verizon and so on. And what you're getting is that you're getting continuous new content updates, which are providing new activities and missions, we call them, that incorporate strategies and techniques that children can learn and advances their social skills, emotional skills, and cognitive skills. Plus, Moxie uses the space-age technology packaged in this sort of cute character. And for that, we use a lot of compute power in the cloud, right? So we're using a lot of bandwidth in the cloud to process the data for Moxie to be able to, as an example, understand what your child is saying and provide appropriate responses and all these things. And so the subscription fee really covers the expenses in the new software updates, the new content updates, and the cloud computing costs.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those listeners that haven't seen Moxie, haven't seen the videos yet, they are amazing. Just what Moxie can do. That one commercial where the parents introduce him to the little kid, I'm not going to lie, it gets me every time, because I have a child that is neurodiverse, and just seeing how Moxie can hopefully help him with his issues, and seeing how Moxie has helped so many others with their issues, I'm not going to lie, it gets me emotional every time.
Yes, and obviously there's many families that could be dealing with similar issues, and that was the impetus for us creating Moxie to help these families.
So before we let you go, where on social media, where on the web, where can we find out more about Moxie?
So I think the best source is really going to our website, embodied.com, or search Moxie robots or embodied on Google, and it will take you to a link that brings you there. There's a ton of information. There's a lot of blogs that our child development experts have written about social emotional development and how that's incorporated into Moxie. We have a lot of videos, and also you can search on YouTube and TikTok on the terms Moxie robot, and you will find a ton of videos of people using Moxie in their homes and posting about it. So I would say those are the best sources for learning more about Moxie.
That is awesome. Well, Paulo, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today, talking about Moxie, talk about Embodied. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely my pleasure as well, and happy holidays.
Appliance Factory in Mattress Kingdom has products in stock and available to take home today. With 5 stores and almost 40 years in business, they are Ohio's appliance experts, and they help you to get the right product at the right price with a huge inventory. You can save 30 to 60% every day on everything from Bosch and Viking to LG, GE, and KitchenAid at unbeatable savings and in stock. Plus, Mattress Kingdom inside Appliance Factory has everything from Tempur-Pedic and Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and DreamCloud mattresses in stock. Stop by any one of Appliance Factory and Mattress Kingdom's 5 Ohio locations today, or visit online at appliancefactory.com.
Good morning, Dreamhouse Nation. James Lewis of TDH joining us today from the Behringer-Crawford Museum is Jason French. Jason, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So for our listeners that might not know about it, tell us a little bit about the Behringer-Crawford Museum.
Well, the Behringer-Crawford Museum is a museum in northern Kentucky in DeVue Park. We've been here since 72 years now, since July of 1950.
Oh, wow. So long, rich tradition. Yes,
we've got a wonderful, rich tradition here in northern Kentucky and in our surrounding community. Many of them have been coming here since they were kids.
That is awesome. So what is the mission of the Behringer-Crawford Museum?
Behringer-Crawford's mission is really telling regional stories and really sharing our history of our community and people around us through various means. We often tell those stories through the history of transportation in our region. We have artwork and historic artifacts and natural history artifacts here, and we just love telling the stories of our communities and the people who are around us.
Nice. So it's located in DeVue Park?
Yes.
Awesome. What are the hours of the operation?
We are open 10 to 5 Tuesday through Saturday and 1 to 5 on Sunday.
And what does the Dreamhouse Nation need to know to help plan their visit?
Well, if you were to come to Behringer-Crawford Museum this winter season, this holiday season, you will want to see our Holiday Toy Trains exhibit, which we, of course, have been operating here at Behringer-Crawford for the last 31 years. But we also are very excited this year to have partnered with the Rosemary Clooney Museum in Augusta and brought the White Christmas exhibit here, which is the dresses, or many of the dresses and costumes and artifacts related to the movie White Christmas that Rosemary Clooney was in 1954.
That is awesome. So tell us about the 3 levels.
So Behringer-Crawford Museum, as I said, we really enjoy telling our history and our community's history through transportation. Some of the reason that we do that is because we actually have the last streetcar that ran on any of the lines in northern Kentucky here in the museum, and that's a very large artifact. So since we have it, we might as well kind of tell the stories of rails and streetcars. That's our first level in the museum. As you walk in the front door, you're going to see our streetcar. That's a gallery next to it we call the Rails Gallery. Our second floor it deals with roads and how roads developed in northern Kentucky and communities around them as well. So that's our roads gallery. On our third floor, which seems a little interesting to do, that's our rivers gallery. We talk about river settlement. We also discuss some of the riverboat lines and other activities that were happening here in northern Kentucky and along the Ohio River. Then actually we do have a fourth floor that we talk about the kind of the birth of CVG, and that's our runways floor. So, when you walk into the museum, you're going to see things that say, rails, roads, rivers, and runways. And we talk about our region's development through those mediums, and that's a way to kind of keep track of our exhibitry. Now, on our third floor, we talk a great deal about prehistory in northern Kentucky. We have many artifacts and fossils that came from Big Bone Lick in our region to tell the story of the Pleistocene Ice Age animals, as well as native peoples that were living amongst them and then after them as well in our community. Our exhibitry covers a great deal, and you can always see something new or unique. We have a Stewart Ironworks. Now, Stewart Ironworks is a company in northern Kentucky that's been around for over 100 years. Stewart is known for things like making the gates at the White House for the fence, or the doors at Alcatraz, and the doors and locks at Alcatraz. But they also, in the early 20th century, made trucks. So we have a Stewart Ironworks truck in our exhibit. When I started working here, it was one of two known in the world, ours and one in New Zealand. Since that time, since we have YouTube videos that go out on our YouTube channel, and we've got a lot of social media. If people are interested, they can kind of get plugged into that by going to our website, bcmuseum.org, and on our website you can find out all kinds of information about our museum and all the interaction and the activities that we do. But on that YouTube channel, I did a talk about our Stewart Ironworks truck. And about 2 or 3 years ago, a gentleman from Canada said, "Hey, I've got one of those." So now there's 3 of them in the world.
Nice. So there's obviously 2 very important groups of people I'm sure you'd want to thank. The people that are the volunteers and the sponsors or donors. Tell us a little bit about those 2 groups.
Our museum could not function without our daily volunteers. Volunteers are such a major and important part of really any nonprofit staff or any museum staff is our volunteers. There's so much that when you've got a small staff, you cannot do without people volunteering and helping you. And there's so many activities that I do as curator on a daily basis. If I didn't have a team of volunteers kind of help me along the way, kind of make some of these visions and these things that we want to do happen, we wouldn't be very far at all. And, it goes for the same for folks that are donors and sponsors. When there's a lot of competing organizations in our region, and it's part of our cultural heritage in kind of this little part of the Ohio River. We've had museums and arts organizations really since 1819 in our community. So there's a lot of places where people can take part of and donate. We are so thankful for so many of those individuals that donate to us and really sponsor us and sponsor our activities. because that allows us to really create special interactions and do tremendous things for our public and the people that interact with us. And we've got so many amazing things that we want to do in the future that if we don't have sponsors, that just won't happen. We've got wonderful vision and are excited about our future programming and activities that we can share with our public, and none of that can happen without sponsors.
That is awesome. One of the things that I do want to share with our listeners, fortunately, you all were nice enough to donate some tickets to us to give out as prizes. So I want our listeners to write into dreamhousenation@gmail.com. That's dreamhousenation@gmail.com, so they can win some tickets to go experience the Behringer-Crawford Museum.
We look forward to seeing you when you win those tickets.
Awesome. Before we let you go, Jason, where is the best place to hear your weekly chats?
The best place, and what I would encourage you, is to go to our website, bcmuseum.org, and off of that and about us, you can go and follow the weekly chats that are on our YouTube page or on Facebook. We also have something called Northern Kentucky History Hour. That's a longer form lectures that happen every other Wednesday. And those are off of that website as well. You can kind of follow all of our activities through our website and kind of get plugged in to many different things. So that's really what I would encourage people to do. If you're curious, go to our website, see what we've got there. And certainly you can become members or become part of, if you want to volunteer, you can fill out an application off the website.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Appliance Factory and Mattress Kingdom has products in stock and available to take home today. With 5 stores and almost 40 years in business, they are Ohio's appliance experts, and they help you to get the right product at the right price with a huge inventory. You can save 30 to 60% every day on everything from Bosch and Viking to LG, GE, and KitchenAid at unbeatable savings and in stock. Plus, Mattress Kingdom inside Appliance Factory has everything from Tempur-Pedic and Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and DreamCloud mattresses in stock. Stop by any one of Appliance Factory and Mattress Kingdom's 5 Ohio locations today, or visit online at appliancefactory.com.
Good morning, Dreamhouse Nation. James Lewis of TDH joining us today to talk about JustSockz is Joe. Joe, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for allowing me to join you guys.
So what is JustSockz?
Well, we're a custom sock company based out of the St. Louis, Missouri area. Kind of the pioneers of the custom sock industry. We started back in 2013. We were actually the second company in the country to ever start doing custom design socks.
And that is awesome. Yeah, I was going to say back then it wasn't a big thing like it is nowadays. People do love those custom socks and being able to express themselves or show off about their teams. I mean, it's just phenomenal what you can do to express yourselves with a pair of socks.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. Like I said, we started, there was a small company, that was the original pioneers based out of Florida. We saw it back in 2013 and decided we would take a shot, figure out how to make it work. Started the Nike craze with all the custom Nike socks and, been doing it ever since.
That is awesome. So what type of socks do you make?
Well, for us, like I said, when we first started, we pioneered the Nike Custom Elite socks, doing all the custom designs for, teams and, very matching shoes and things as such for all your Jordans and KDs and everything that's out there. Now we actually have our own custom sock brand, where we actually custom design our socks. They're on a polyester sock that's stitched and woven in North Carolina. So all of our socks are 100% U.S. made socks. Nothing that we do actually comes from any place outside of the country.
That is awesome. We love companies that are made in the United States. That is awesome. And I understand on the types of socks, you have 3 types. You have the novelty, the spirit socks, and then sports.
We got a little bit of everything. So, I mean, it's pretty much whatever your lifestyle is. We can custom design a sock for you. If you're looking for something for your team, you're looking for volleyball, basketball, baseball, football, whatever it is, we can custom design a pair of socks, that would match your uniforms, match your school. So if you're doing some type of school pride socks, or just something funky and crazy that you want for the office. I mean, we can really do any type of design that you're looking for.
One of the things I really love about your company is you're a veteran-owned company. What are the benefits of working with a veteran-owned and operated company?
Well, for me, I was in the Marine Corps for 8.5 years, so a Gulf War veteran. For me, it's, we really take pride in everything that we do. Like I said, being, 100% U.S. made, everything we try to do is to really support this country, just as I did in the military. I mean, for us, really, working to help better this country and supporting everybody that's in it. That's kind of what we're all about.
So what is the best way for the Dream House Nation to order from JustSockz?
Well, we have a few different options. Our best way is from my website, which is www.justsocks.com, and that's socks with a Z. So JustSockz.com. That's
Awesome.
the best way to get to us. But, we're on all the different platforms that are out there. But you're always going to find the best deals when you do it off our website.
I understand that you have a really great team of designers. Tell us about them.
Yeah. So our initial company was built off of a web and graphics company. So that was our initial core that allowed us to really kind of build up JustSockz. So where we were doing custom web design, graphics, logos, all that type of stuff, we were able to just take that same concept and apply it to socks. So if you're looking for something wild and crazy, our designers can custom design it and make it kind of fit your needs on what you're looking for.
That is awesome. Do you use sublimatation?
We do. So all of our socks are dye subbed, and what that means, the graphics are physically dyed into the sock. So we don't apply, a heat transfer on top of them. We actually heat transfer the ink into the sock. So it physically dyes a pair of socks. So the socks will start off as a white pair of socks. When we're done with it, it's got all the various colors and designs and everything physically dyed into it. So when you wash it and dry it, the colors are going to remain on for the socks when you put them back on again. So they last a lot longer.
That is awesome that they last longer, and I understand they feel better.
They do.
Awesome.
So, for us, back in the day, with sublimation, there's really no limits on what we're able to put onto the sock. If you want a picture on it, you wanted a team logo, you want company logos, anything that you wanted, whatever colors you wanted, there's really no limits when it comes to dye sublimation. We can pretty much do any type of design on a pair of socks.
That is so cool. So there are no limits to the creativity of your customers and our listeners. That is phenomenal.
Nope.
So how does JustSockz help people express their individuality? I think you've covered it, but I like asking that question.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's, whatever your lifestyle is, we pretty much have a pair of socks that's going to meet your needs. So, if you like something wild and crazy, we have those type of socks. You like something that's, suited around different holidays. We have those as well. If you're a big sports fan, we've came up with our game day socks for baseball and football and soccer, volleyball. So we have all those type of stuff as well. So whatever your lifestyle is, whatever you're really into, we probably have a pair of socks that's going to kind of fit your needs. If you're a, sneakerhead, you're all about sneakers. We have socks that match a number of the shoes that are out there. And if we don't have it, that's something we can custom design as well.
Now, of course, a lot of people are going to the ugly sweater parties, but I'd like one-upping people. I would say having ugly Christmas socks would be even more impressive than having an ugly Christmas sweater.
We've said that because, with that, you can wear it all year long. So, if you want to kind of feeling festive, you can easily put on a pair of ugly Christmas socks, whether it's ugly reindeers, it's various different, socks that kind of, maybe TV shows or things you grew up on as a child. We have those type of socks as well. A lot of funny different types of Christmas socks. So, whatever it is, we can pretty much come up with it. We have, hundreds of different designs on our website. Basically you kind of figure out what you like, we can come up with it. And if it's not there, you contact us and, we can work with you to kind of custom design something that's going to be exactly what you're looking for.
That is awesome. And then, of course, like you said, so many people get them to support their teams. I understand that, they even do some fundraisers. Like they'll buy a large quantity off you and then they'll sell them to raise money for the team or for the sport or for the school.
That's exactly right. So, we have some great fundraising opportunities. It's a chance for, schools and teams to make, up to $5, sometimes even more for a pair of socks that they sell. They can work with our designers. We'll custom design the sock to match their team or their school. And then from there, they can do a fundraiser, sell as many as they can. They mark it up. They get a wholesale discount on that. So it's a great fundraising opportunity for them to kind of help build some money and, raise some funds for their organization.
And then, of course, not just all the fun aspect of it, but I understand JustSockz is found on some principles, the principle of giving back. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, for me, like I said, I am one of the founders of the company. I actually have a homeless ministry that I run in the St. Louis area. I've been doing it for 7 years. Every Wednesday night, rain, sleet, or snow, I head out to the streets of St. Louis and I feed the homeless. I'm out there from 6:30 in the evening till sometimes 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And the whole principle is really, helping people find themselves, helping people that are, less fortunate find their way back into a better situation, to kind of inspire them, to kind of give back and let them know that no one's really given up on them. I mean, there are people that still care. For us, we're built on our faith and foundation, giving back to them, helping them. We started doing our homeless ministry just by giving away socks. That's one of the biggest needs for people that are living out on the streets. And it turned into something that, I never imagined. Now, we're out there every week faithfully. They know that they can depend on us. We head out to the streets. We feed them. I cook hot food every Wednesday. That's pretty much my all-day deal. I cook all throughout the day, and then on Wednesday nights we hit the streets, and we're giving everything from clothing to hygiene items, socks, shoes, all the type of necessities they need to live out on the streets. But the ultimate goal is to help them get off the streets. That's really what we focus on.
That is really awesome how you all give back and really care about your community. The more businesses should be that way, that, really impact your community. That is great.
Yep. And that's really, that's our whole thing. I mean, and for us, it's, it is about community, it is about faith, it is about, really doing, what we should be doing as a community and as people, right? I mean, for me, I'm very faith driven. I mean, and that's the most important thing in my life. And I really run this organization, and our company to kind of live by those principles. This is, we're a very godly company, and that's what we feel, that helping other people and being good people, providing good service, knowing that we're not out there trying to take advantage of people. We want to be somebody that's built on solid principles. That's really what our company focuses on.
So before we let you go, where on social media, where on the web, where can our listeners find out more about JustSockz?
Well, you can find us on all the social media sites. We're on Twitter or on Facebook. We post quite often on our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/JustSockz, or, Instagram. We're out there as well. We're on Pinterest. We're on Amazon. But like I was saying earlier, the best place to find us is on our website, which is www.JustSockz, and that's socks with a Z.com.
That is awesome. Well, Joe, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today.
I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity to kind of tell you a little bit about us.
Appliance Factory in Mattress Kingdom has products in stock and available to take home today. With 5 stores and almost 40 years in business, they are Ohio's appliance experts, and they help you to get the right product at the right price with a huge inventory. You can save 30 to 60% every day on everything from Bosch and Viking to LG, GE, and KitchenAid at unbeatable savings and in stock. Plus, Mattress Kingdom inside Appliance Factory has everything from Tempur-Pedic and Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Dream Cloud mattresses in stock. Stop by any one of Appliance Factory and Mattress Kingdom's 5 Ohio locations today, or visit online at appliancefactory.com.
Good morning, Dreamhouse Nation. James Lewis of TDH. Joining us from Telekiad is Adam. Adam, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, good morning. You bet.
So what are tarot cards?
Tarot cards. Well, it's a long history. They've been around for 600 plus years. It's a card game. You've heard of people playing bridge and how the cards are sometimes used to play in your hand, but sometimes used to take tricks. Well, when playing cards were invented back in the Renaissance, somebody added extra cards to the deck just for taking tricks. And voila, there you have a tarot deck. It's a card game.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a way to see the future and things like that.
Well, In the U.S., it's viewed that way. Europe dabbled with that for about a decade in the early 19th century, and there's a long story behind that. But then they kind of dumped the fad and went back to treating them as a deck of playing cards. Today in Europe, they still have big money tarot card game tournaments, just like we have big money poker tournaments here in the U.S.
Huh, that's pretty neat. So,
but the card game never really caught on in the U.S., whereas the, fortune-telling biz did. So Europe kind of looks at us and going, whatever.
So what is Telekiad?
Oh, Telekiad. I made a deck of tarot cards for some friends of mine, and they convinced me to sell them, and I had to invent a company name. So you try coming up with a name that doesn't already exist on the internet. We took the first letters of a couple of our names, put them on Scrabble tiles, mixed them around until we had something vaguely pronounceable that produced 0 Google hits. So there you go. Nobody can remember the name, much less pronounce it.
The funny thing was, I was thinking it had something to do with, because you do Star Trek. A lot of the letters in there are the letters that are in Trek. So I thought it had something to do with that.
Well, we managed to get a phone number, 662-GOT-TREK, which I think is hilarious. But the company name Telekiad is just a nonsense word. That's why we have if you type StarTrekTarot.com, which everybody can remember, it'll take you to our website.
Nice. So why did you combine tarot cards and Star Trek?
Well, I'm not a real big tarot aficionado, but I have some friends that are big into it. You know what Venn diagrams are, those drawings with the circles that maybe only overlap a little bit?
Yeah.
I have tarot friends over in this circle. I have Star Trek friends over in that circle. I've got lots of other circles with other groups of friends. The joke I use in Minnesota is my Vikings fan friends and my Packers fan friends don't overlap much. But I was hanging with my tarot friends, and I learned from them that, like I said, you got a playing card deck plus these extra cards. The extra ones are the ones you always see in the movies, the death card, the devil card, all that kind of stuff. But you add the extra cards to the deck, and you now have a deck that totals 78 cards. And over here in this other circle, from my Star Trek friends, I'm a fan, but, I don't dress as a Klingon. I don't quote star dates, but I learned that there are 78 episodes of the classic Star Trek show. And I thought, my tarot friends are making new decks for each other all the time. I'll just make a deck that matches up the Star Trek episodes and the tarot cards 1-to-1. And I opened up my laptop and I started a spreadsheet and I started researching the meanings and doing DVD frame grabs. And my wife loves hobbies like this because they're cheap. And after a while, I had this deck of cards and I printed it out at Kinko's and I gave it to my friends as a Christmas present. And I thought, project done. Well, no, they liked it so much they twisted my arm and forced me to pursue, getting it licensed through the studio that owns, the Star Trek copyrights and everything. Mm-hmm. That took a lot longer.
Yeah. But on the bright side, you were able to unite two groups of fans, like you said, that aren't really traditionally joined together. But that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a weird combination, not one you would think of, off the top of your head, obviously. But I found as I've given these decks out and my friends have now, been able to buy them for their friends, my tarot friends are learning more about Trek, and my Trek friends maybe are learning a little bit more about tarot. So, it's a cool thing.
That is cool.
And if you're not into the fortune telling, you can take out the extra cards and play poker.
Neat. So what products do you offer?
Oh, another thing that my tarot friends explained to me is that when you sell a professional deck, most of the big professional decks have a book that accompanies them, explaining more in detail the history of the cards and the meanings of the individual cards and all that kind of stuff. And for my original Kinko's Christmas present, I had made like a little flyer that went with the deck so that my Trek friends would know a little bit about the history. And my tarot friends convinced me that I needed to expand on that. So in addition to, repainting the cards to be full-size tarot cards instead of, stupid DVD frame grabs, I also had to write this book. It turned out to be like a college research paper that just never ends. Every day I'm writing more pages and more pages and more pages. It finally topped out at like 130 mumble pages. But you can buy the complete deck without the book. You can buy the deck with the book. Turns out we're not licensed through the studio to sell the book by itself, because that would have to go through a completely different arm of the studio for their publishing division. And that would take another year, and it took long enough as is. But the book is available with the deck. And when I show my cards to my tarot friends, the first question they always ask are always about what's the meaning of this card and what's the illustration on that card. You know, they're very into the tarotness of it. When I show them to my Star Trek friends, their first question always, well, this is a great original series deck, but when are you going to have a Next Generation or Deep Space Nine or Voyager? Or, you know, there's like 10 other Star Trek shows. I'm working on it, okay? But the first, if you will, follow-up deck, what my Star Trek collector friends call the expansion pack, is based on the first follow-up Star Trek show from the original show. There was a cartoon show that ran on Saturday mornings in the 1970s. And you know that tarot deck with those extra cards? There's 22 extra cards. Well, there were 22 episodes of the animated Star Trek. So we matched the animated episodes up 1-to-1 with the unsuited tarot cards and have this sort of expansion pack mini deck.
Oh, wow.
But it has the same card backs and same artwork and all, so you can mix and match them for card games and whatnot. And we're planning on future decks doing the same mix and matchableness. It'll just take longer because Next Generation has enough episodes for 2.5 decks. So it's taking longer.
So where is the best place for the Dreamhouse Nation to buy Star Trek tarot cards?
Well, they're available on Amazon, but honestly, you get a better deal if you just type StarTrekTarot.com and go to our website, because we don't charge markups or extra for shipping or anything. And plus, there's lots of cool pictures and stories and blogs and whatnot. You don't even have to buy; you just hang out.
Nice. Now, how important is the cloth, the spread cloth?
Oh. Again, that's another add-on thing that my tarot friends, some of them who are deeply serious about doing interpretive readings and so forth, they like having custom cloths. It's a bandana. It's about 22 inches square. But we put artwork on it from the cards. It has the same nebula that you have on our website. That nebula, by the way, is a real nebula. It's called the Hubble Variable Nebula, and it just sometimes happens to look like the Star Trek insignia. So there's, life imitating art.
Nice.
But we took all the little symbols for the zodiacs and the elementals and all that kind of stuff, and just put it around the border of the cloth. So you can use it as a bandana, or you can just lay it down on the table and do card readings on it or whatever. Or some of my card reader friends, they just wrap the deck in it when they're not using it. It's not a big mover, but we put it up there anyway, and a few tarot aficionados seem to like it.
So what's your opinion on inverted cards?
Again, my tarot reader friends have different opinions about that. Some readers, when they're shuffling the deck and laying out the cards for a reading, if the card is upside down, they will assign a different meaning to that card. Some readers don't bother. They just turn them all face up. On our cards, because they're sort of training wheels for the Star Trek fans, we have little keywords to help you understand the meanings. The death card doesn't really mean death. It means transformation, for example. And we put the upside-down words for the upside-down meanings sort of in gray so that it's there but dim. It's easy to ignore if you don't want to use them.
Nice. So in other words, there's options for both people.
Exactly. And we made sure to keep all the little tarot words and symbols small and in the corners so that if you're using them for card games or just as a collectible, it's not, in your face. I will say that when we were drawing the artwork for the cards, there's certain things that traditional artwork on traditional tarot cards will have, like the Ten of Swords will have a guy holding 10 swords, that kind of thing. We didn't want our Ten of Swords card to have Kirk holding 10 swords, So all of our drawings are pretty much straight from the episodes. And yet it's amazing how tightly we were able to match some of the traditional tarot imagery. There's a card called The Hanged Man, which features a guy hanging upside down in a tree. It's in the old Renaissance time, it was a mild punishment, not as bad as the stockades. But there's a card, our Hanged Man card has Spock hanging upside down from a tree, and it's literally in the episode. He got zapped by a plant, and he's, on goofy drugs. So he's telling Kirk, piss off, but I'm swinging from the tree, and I'm happy. So he's our Hanged Man card. And over and over again, the matchings on our cards impressed our tarot friends so much that that's why they wanted us to bring this to market, because they really felt it was not just a joke deck or a gag gift, and the artwork doesn't have, stupid cartoons or caricatures on it. It's very respectful to the artist, so the Star Trek fans love it just as a collectible.
Excellent. Well, I guess the important question to ask you then is, what are your hailing frequencies so our listeners can contact you and learn more about you?
Again, nobody can remember our dumb company name, Telekiad, but just type StarTrekTarot.com, and we have the, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the social medias, and so it's all Star Trek Tarot.
That is awesome. Well, Adam, it has been a pleasure having you on the show, letting our listeners know more about you. Before we let you go, I got to give out our emails address. It's dreamhousenation@gmail.com, and our listeners know when I do that, that means we're going to be giving away some prizes. So hopefully Adam is going to hook us up with some prizes to give out our listeners. So remember, listeners, write into dreamhousenation@gmail.com. Adam, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today.
You bet.
Appliance Factory and Mattress Kingdom has products in stock and available to take home today. With 5 stores and almost 40 years in business, they are Ohio's appliance experts, and they help you to get the right product at the right price with a huge inventory. You can save 30 to 60% every day on everything from Bosch and Viking to LG, GE, and KitchenAid at unbeatable savings and in stock. Plus, Mattress Kingdom inside Appliance Factory has everything from Tempur-Pedic and Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and DreamCloud mattresses in stock. Stop by any one of Appliance Factory and Mattress Kingdom's 5 Ohio locations today, or visit online at appliancefactory.com.
Good morning, Dreamhouse Nation. James Lewis of TDH. Joining us today is the author, Ofusu Jones Courtney Fosu. He is the author of Love Your Amazing Self. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
We're excited about having you on the show. Why is self-love and self-kindness so important?
Yeah, coming from my own journey, I experienced depression and anxiety as a young person, and really finding that the practices of mindfulness and developing a kind inner voice were crucial in my overall health and well-being. And I've worked for over a decade with young people, teaching mindfulness and meditation, and I've just seen how deeply ingrained our sense of unworthiness can be, our sense of not being enough can be. And it starts at a young age, and it begins to get stronger and stronger as we move through life. So just because that's the trend that happens with human beings doesn't mean that that's how it's got to be. And so I wanted to explore how we could kind of rewire our approach to ourselves and to life. And we're seeing more and more that practicing self-kindness helps to build resilience, our overall well-being, et cetera. So I really think that it is indispensable for living a happy life.
How does your work as a hip-hop artist influence your work as an author?
Yeah, the process is somewhat similar. I wrote this book in a lyrical format, which is very similar to how I write hip-hop verses. I like to think of the rhythm of the verse first, and then knowing what I generally want to say, fill in the words according to the rhythm. And yeah, so these verses are also what I like to call lyrical meditations. And they are definitely connected to my roots as a hip-hop artist.
Nice. So where is the best place for the Dreamhouse Nation to purchase your book?
Well, Dreamhouse Nation, you can really get this book anywhere. I just had the very cool experience of walking into Barnes & Nobles with my kids and seeing it there. So that was super fun. So you can get it anywhere books are sold. I always encourage people to support their local bookstores, support their independent book retailers, but you can also get this on Amazon. You can get this at Barnes & Nobles. You can get this pretty much anywhere where they sell books.
How has working with young people influenced your decision to work on this book? As I mentioned earlier, I began to notice, working with really young kids, they're not caught in what Tara Brach calls the trance of unworthiness.
that early in life. But then as they start to get older, perhaps it's messaging from the external world or from siblings or parents or friends or just a combination of all of that. Once kids start moving into pre-adolescence and adolescence, you tend to see that they are really believing that they're not good enough or that they're not worthy. And that's not all kids, but many of the young people that I've worked with, they do fall into this line of thinking that they are not enough, that they need these friends or these clothes or this online persona or whatever in order to be valid and appreciated. And I really wanted to create something that could serve as an antidote to that way of thinking and to remind kids that you are enough just as you are. Everything that you've got within you, by default, makes you worthy of being in this world. So just noticing that it gets harder and harder as we go along in life to appreciate just who we are naturally. I wanted to write something to remind kids that they are enough.
Tell us about how your experiences as a father influence your writing.
Yeah, so I'm a father of 4. My youngest is 6 and my oldest is 20. So I'm continually seeing the phases of childhood evolve. And, as a dad, my number one wish for my children is that they're happy with who they are, that they appreciate who they are, and they celebrate who they are, and to let that happiness and appreciation and celebration spill over into how they show up in the world. So this book is also a love letter to my own kids and a reminder of their own fundamental goodness, and to remember that they are perfect as they are and that they don't need to look for external validation to love themselves, that they can just love themselves exactly for who they are. And I think that if they've got self-love in their hearts, if they've got it in their back pockets, automatically that is going to provide a foundation for a happy life. And yeah, so that's a part of it.
Nice. What does the 20-year-old study? What are they into?
My 20-year-old daughter is in her 3rd year at Howard University, and she's studying human development, and she wants to work with young people also, so it's pretty cool. Nice.
So she wants to follow in the family footsteps.
Something like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see that it's a passion of hers to want to work and help young people.
So where can we find out more information about you and your book on social media and the web?
Sure. So again, the book is available wherever books are sold. You can find out more about me via my website, bornimusic.com. That's BORN, the letter I, the word music.com. And all my social media is at bornimusic. So at BORN, the letter I, music.
Sounds great. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
Appliance Factory in Mattress Kingdom has products in stock and available to take home today. With 5 stores and almost 40 years in business, they are Ohio's appliance experts, and they help you to get the right product at the right price with a huge inventory. You can save 30 to 60% every day on everything from Bosch and Viking to LG, GE, and KitchenAid at unbeatable savings and in stock. Plus, Mattress Kingdom inside Appliance Factory has everything from Tempur-Pedic and Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and DreamCloud mattresses in stock. Stop by any one of Appliance Factory and Mattress Kingdom's 5 Ohio locations today or visit online at appliancefactory.com.
That wraps it up for this week's show. Hope you can join us again next week for this Dream House. This has been James Lewis. Enjoy your weekend.